All right. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you're logging in from. My name's Jane, and I have been working here at Aplos for a little over 5 years now. I'm the customer relationship director, so I get to work with a lot of customers to educate them on software or um, help with any questions and just make sure that things are going well. So I wanted to take some time to show you guys some of the options that we have in terms of online donations. So we are in an interesting time in our society, and a lot of church is going online. I attended a couple church services on Sunday, so I got to see not only my church, but also another church here in the Fresno area. So just kind of cool to have a way to stay connected while we are at our homes. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope that this time's helpful. So just kind of an idea of what we'll go through. I'm going to show you our online donation tools, whether that's a form, a widget, text to give, what the emails look like that online donors will receive, how you can view online donations, and then even have a question and answer at the end. So we might not take the full hour, but we will definitely go into things in detail. So again, thanks for joining me, and let's jump right in. So I'm going to spend the majority of the time focused here on the donations tab. Where I'm going to start is purposes. So purposes is kind of like, in a way, your chart of accounts for donations. So purposes are a way that you can categorize donations in Aplos, whether that is if you are raising money specifically for COVID-19 relief, or if it's just a general donation. You could also have purposes for missions trips or building projects, things like that. So you can add any purposes here by clicking this green plus button. It's going to let you put a name, a description if you want to, and then the income account, fund, and any tags are available so that you can track the donations in accounting. That means that when you receive a donation, or if you even put in a batch of donations, that you're able to reflect that deposit in one of your asset registers so that you're counting the income. You might have situations where you're recording income, or let's say recording a deposit, and it should hit more than one income account or more than one fund. That's where your purposes come in, because they will uniquely be linked to a specific income account, a specific fund, and that will put the income in the right place. So as an example, I have a COVID-19 relief purpose. I have linked that to special gifts and to my special gifts fund, and I created a COVID-19 tag for further categorization. So when a deposit is made and that is reflected in one of my registers, the income will be counted accordingly. So set up your purposes, create a new purpose if you need to. The little blue chain link means that it's linked to accounting. An example of a purpose that maybe you wouldn't link to accounting is like an in-kind donation. You could have people who are donating items, and for that, they can name the value of the item. You would record it with that value. That way they can get a contribution statement. So, all right. So get those purposes dialed in, and then you'll be able to do things like create online forms. So I'm going to click online donations and online donation forms. That is going to take me to a page where I have a form builder. So here's an example of my COVID-19 relief donation page. You can insert a logo and a main image. You can choose from the multiple different color palettes that we have available. And then here's where you would upload your images. So your logo goes here, your main image is here. I'm going to go into more detail on the donation page itself. We do have a widget option, which is basically an iframe pop-up. It doesn't have things like adding images or descriptions. So it's a little less personal. We like the donation page just because it gives the ability to personalize. Donors like to know sometimes where their gifts are going. So this is a way to describe that to them. So here you would put any sort of information. It could be, here are the local organizations that we are supporting during this time, or this donation is going to families in our congregation who are in need, things like that. So this is just an option for you to personalize that page, let your donors know where their gifts are going. It just gives them a little bit more awareness. So from there, you'll have your donor information area. So that is clicking over to here. At the very least, you'll capture first name, last name, and email address. You can capture full address and you can make it required as well. If you are mailing out your contribution statements, I recommend that you include the address in there and make it required. If you're emailing, it might not be as important if you email those contribution statements, but you might want the information. So you have the ability to add that. You can also add custom fields. So my last webinar, someone asked about being able to put like a donor ID. So you can create custom fields here in the People tab that will let you add a custom field and then choose what type of custom field it is so that the donor can include that information if you add it to the online donation page. Let me get back there. So if you do need to add a custom field, that's in the donor section, and those custom fields will show up here. So like if I had, if I wanted to get a member number, something like that, I can add that member field here. You can always delete things too. So that's the donor area. Now let's look at donations. Here under the donation option, you have things to choose from. So whether you want to split a donation between multiple purposes, that would be if someone wants to give $100 and maybe they want to give $50 to the COVID-19 relief and $50 to just where it's needed most. It's going to total that, okay, you're giving a total of 100 and here's how it's split out. So that is the purpose splitting option selected here. If you choose this, it's just going to let them have some quick select buttons and then only donate to one purpose. So here you can allow a one-time or a recurring donation. Some people have different forms, one for one-time gifts, one for recurring. So that's why there's just the flexibility there. You can choose the purposes that a donor can select. So this will be a list of all the purposes on your purposes page. So you can click any here. Just be aware that the order that you click them is the order that they'll show in a drop-down option. So I clicked COVID-19 first. If I wanted give where needed most first, and I'd delete the COVID-19 and then re-add it, and it would pop under the give where needed most. Here is an option to allow your donors to pay their transaction fee. We've noticed that donors who give through our Aplos customers, there is a high percentage of them who will choose to pay the fee. So that way, the organization's receiving 100% of the donation, and the donor's just paying a little bit more to offset that. And then there's an option to add a note. This will basically give a note field here for them to type anything in. You can change the text here on your button. So right now my button says give, but I can change that here as well. So then they would click the give button. That would take them to the second page, which is a payment page. looks like this. Right now I have the option for donors to pay with a credit card or ACH. You can limit that or allow for both. So they would enter their payment information here and click donate now. So what does this look like to a donor? First, let me show you here. You can click this button to get the donation URL. So you don't need to have a website to have a donation page. You can always grab the URL and email it. There is the option though, if you do want to add it to your website, to get information for a button. I guess I should say code for a button. So you would select which button you want on your website, and it will give you that specific code. So if I want a blue button with rounded corners, and when I hover over it, it turns white, I would click this, and this is the code that I'm going to grab to put on my website. So you would give this to like your web developer, or if you manage the website, you would add this to your website. So this is where you'll get it. So what's it look like to the donor? Let me show you. So let's pretend I went to your website and I clicked your donate button. I'm going to land here on the form. This is what it's going to look like for me. I'm going to enter my name, my email address. I'm going to choose my purpose, click give. So let me do this. Let's say I want to give $100. And so they can make this a recurring donation. They could choose to pay the transaction fee. So when they choose for recurring, they have an option for monthly or weekly. If it's monthly, they're going to choose the day of the month. If it's weekly, they're going to choose the day of the week. If they're doing a recurring donation, they have the option here to check this box, which would mean process a donation today and then process it on the 1st of the month. So if they chose the 15th and clicked this button, a donation would process today, and then their recurring donation would start processing every month on the 15th. So I'm going to click give. It's going to take me here where I'm going to choose my payment information. So if I'm doing a credit card, I'm going to put in my credit card information. It's going to tell you or tell the donor how much they're going to pay total to cover the fee. Bank account, you can choose here. This is going to, I don't know if it'll come up. Yay, it did. If you click this, doing bank account, they have the option to enter their bank account information. We process donations through WePay, and WePay is linked up with a lot of banks to where a donor would just have to put in to verify their bank, their online credentials for that bank account. If that bank is not supported with the online credentials, then they can click this button here to manually enter a routing number and account number. That will send them to micro deposits. That's how they will confirm the bank account. So it's just an extra level of protectedness, if that's a word, since it's working directly with the bank. It's just secure in that sense. So that is what they'll do to fill out the donation page to start that donation. So I want to show you what emails will look like that they'll receive. I'm going to click marketing. I'm going to click emails, and then I'm going to click automatic emails. So there are 3 emails that you can change up a little bit. That is online donation receipt one time, online donation receipt recurring, and unable to process online donation. So each of these will have required information up top. This cannot be edited, it's required, but you can add different options down below. You might want to add a picture of someone on your team and a note from them or something along those lines, just to personalize it a little more. You have that flexibility in all 3 of those emails to do so. You also can kind of change the style, the way it looks a little bit here. So those are your options for editing those online donation receipts. So let's say you want to use a donation widget. Perfect. Let me show you how. I'm glad you asked. I'm going to click this plus button and do new donation widget. Again, a widget is just an iframe that's going to pop up when they click the button on your website. You will need to embed a widget on your website. You don't have a shareable link like you do an online donation page that you can email out. So it's very standard. It looks like this. You have the same options to choose from. It's just going to pop up on your website and be a little bit more basic. So they would choose their purpose, they'd enter the amount, they'd click continue. That will take them to where they'll fill out their donor information and then their payment information. So super simple, super easy, same idea as the online donation form, just not shareable with a link and is required to pop up through your online, your website. So that's an online donation widget. Now let me show you text to give. So we have this third option, which is text to give. This allows your donors to text a specific number, your specific number, so that they can set up a one-time or recurring donation. It's super easy. So if you land on this page, it's going to tell you to generate your text to give number. I've already done that and my number is listed here. So this is my setup page. Now here's what it will look like. Let's say I text give. It's going to say, how much would you like to give? And I say, I would like to give $100. This is my first time using text to give for my church. So then it's going to say, okay, it looks like you just need to set up your account. So what it's going to do now is take me to this page. When I click this link, I'm going to go here. And it's going to say, great, you wanted to give $100 and you want to give to this COVID-19 relief. They can drop down here if you have more than one option to choose from. They can make it a recurring donation. They can do the process immediately. So here they'll enter their bank account or credit card information, and that's going to set up their online donation through text to give. So it's super easy, super simple. And all they have to do is text. And everyone has a phone and everyone's on their phone, so especially now, right? So here are those options. We do have a specific text to give webinar. Let me show you. I have a list of our webinars that we're doing right now. We're doing a lot more webinars these days just with the time that we have. So we're calling it Aplos Open Hours. So like there's a text to give webinar for churches coming up again on Monday, the 30th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. If you're a nonprofit, we have specific webinars for you too. Text to give for nonprofits on Tuesday, and then also an online donation specific to nonprofits on Monday. So this one's a little more geared to churches. So we're just trying to do a little bit more open office hours for that. So text to give is super easy. Another great way to, while things are becoming very digital, to have another option for online donations. So let's see. Here, one more thing I want to show you. Here is a list that you'll find as online donations start coming in. You will see those individual online donations. And then anyone who's setting up a recurring donations, you'll see a list of anyone who has an active recurring donation. So if they ever contact you and say, hey, I need to pause my donation for now, you can do that. Or if they need to cancel it, you can do that too. You can help them out that way. Another thing is donors are going to have access to a donor profile called My Aplos. So here they're going to be able to log in. When they set up a donation, they'll also in that email say, here's how you can access your donations. They would see any recurring donations here. They would see any pledges that you've set up for them here, and then any donations here. We also have this group section. We have groups and teams. So like if you have Bible studies, if you have an elder board, they can utilize this groups and teams option and they'll see which groups they are here. So if there are recurring donations, they can edit payment method there, they can edit the amount, things like that. I also want to show you this contribution statements tab. Here they can log in and get their contribution statement right online. So they can download it, have the PDF. That way you don't really have to do anything. But if you probably should still send them a contribution statement, but they can access it online at any point if they wanted to throughout the year. So to send those contribution statements, you're going to click reports, and then you're going to scroll down to donations and click donations by contact. This is going to show you, it'll default to year to date. You can change date filters, but this is where you're going to send the contribution statements. So you're going to click extra actions. You have the option to print the statement so that you can mail it or email the statement. When you email it, they're going to have the link to go to their online donor profile. You also have the option to attach the PDF of their donation receipt right there too. So super easy. Emailing's the way to go. Save on postage. And you could even send these out more than just one time a year. You could do it quarterly. You could do it however. So a great tool to utilize here. All right, I would like to open it up to question and answer. So feel free to start sending in some questions. While you're doing that, I want to let you know how your donations are processed. So we use a online processor called WePay. They're great to work with. They're owned by Chase. So basically, they are who are processing the donations that you receive. You have the option to receive deposits daily, weekly, or monthly. So here's an example of what your WePay login dashboard will look like. You'll have a WePay account that's going to be automatically generated for you. As soon as you start the online donation form process, we create the WePay account for you. So you would set it up like you do similar to a bank account. You would put your bank account information here for where you want those deposits. You're going to do settings or choose settings like how often do you want your money, things like that. So you'll see when you log in the activity that's going on, all of that here. You can even log in here and refund a donation if someone maybe gave the wrong amount or something like that. So that's what your WePay account will look like just in a snapshot view. Again, you can receive deposits daily, weekly, or monthly. And then fees, each donation has a transaction fee when it's processed. For credit cards, it's 3% plus 30 cents. For ACH, it's 2% plus 30 cents. And remember, the donor can choose to pay that fee. So they would pay a little bit more so that you get 100% of that donation. All right, I would love to answer questions, so feel free to send those in. Okay, thanks for the question, Rod. I appreciate you asking. Is there an additional fee for text to give? It is a paid part of the subscription. It's $20 a month to add it. So if you, with Aplos, you get a lot already included in your monthly subscription. The feature to add text to give would be $20 a month. All right. Not any more questions, huh? Okay. Well, I can show you if you do have questions that come up, how you can ask us. So our team is available here. There's more ways to get a hold of us, but this is one of the more common ways that people ask us questions. So here you would click the little chat icon down below and click new conversation. This allows you to send in a message. So that way you can send in a question and we'll respond to you. We also have a phone number that you can call. It's 888-274-1316. Our team is available Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you can feel free to send us questions that way or give us a call. Okay, cool. I have more questions. All right, Paul, thanks for asking. Tell me about campaigns. So in our marketing tab, I'm assuming you're meaning email campaigns. So under our marketing tab, you have the option under emails for email campaigns. This is a way for you to send mass emails that look like you're sending an individual email. So you create an email template. I created one, a COVID-19 specific one, where it would be like your pastoral team is just sending out an email update to their members. So here you can put in a banner image and a main image here. So basically I'm lining out, hey, here are ways that we're still here for you. We might not be meeting in person, but here's our Zoom link for you to attend church. Or here, if you need prayer or pastoral care, here's how you can contact our hotline. If you want to set up a donation, here's the link to our donation form. So it looks very clean. I saved a PDF for our team. Okay, here. So let's say I emailed, where'd it go? Sorry, 1 second. Here we go. Let's say I emailed this. So here's what the email would look like to someone who's receiving it. They'll get this email. It's got everything that they need to see. They'd click the buttons. I don't have links to the buttons, so that's why they're coming out gray. But you would link your button to a specific donation page or to the information of where to get or how to get to the hotline. So that's basically what they're going to get. It's going to look really nice. It's going to, you have the options here in the text. If I wanted to say, hi, first name, I have the option to put in and make it very personal. So yeah, then you'd schedule the email campaign, choose a list of who you want to send it to, and it'll send an email blast that looks like a very individualized email to multiple people. All right, question from Rod. Sounds like it would be best to set up 2 donation buttons, one very simple general fund, then another to select the fund you want. You can do that. We have customers who have multiple online donation pages where the donations go to one specific purpose, but we also have organizations who have one donation form where they can choose between multiple different purposes. So if you want just one purpose, then you're only going to select one here, and they won't have a drop down. So let me show you in a way what that looks like. So here there would be a drop down to be able to choose from. If you only want one, then it's going to get rid of the drop down. They won't have anything to choose because in the back end it's being selected for them basically. So really you can do either. It's really just based out onto your preference. If you do have more than one, I will say this, then if they don't catch that they need to choose something, it will default to the first purpose in your list. Will this webinar be posted so we can review it? We have a recording that we can send you. So if you want to just reply to the email that you received to remember to log in or whatever, then we can just let them know that you want the recording of the webinar and we can send it to you. How do we add text to give button to our website? Good question, Rita. It's actually doesn't require a button because you have a phone number. So one thing I'm going to recommend, I can post this in our chat. We have a launch kit Let me find it. Here we go. So basically this launch kit, I'm going to send it to everyone. Okay, cool. We have a launch kit that helps you share the text to give information. So because it's through text message, you won't have a button to add to your website, but the launch kit that I just sent you guys does have ways that you can let people know that you have the ability to text a donation now. So whether that's sharing it on your Facebook, or whether it is part like a slide that you show during your online church service, you can put in your phone number and say, hey, we have a new way to give. Here's the phone number. You can text this number to set up a donation. So hopefully that helps. That launch kit is in the questions section. I'll send it here too. Okay. I also sent it in the chat. So just in case you didn't get it in the questions. Okay, another question. Does the database tell you who we have email addresses for and who we have to print statements for? Great question, Chip. I love that question. So basically when you're printing, or excuse me, when you're emailing your online, your contribution statements, and you choose to email, it will say, once you send the email to each person, it'll say, hey, you have, I don't know, 17 people who don't have an email address. Do you want to mail these? You click yes, it's going to print the 17 contribution statements so that you can individually mail those. Another way that you can find this information is here on the People tab, click Lists. You have a tool that's really helpful called the Smart Lists, where you can run a list of whoever's in your database. So you could say, show me someone whose email is empty. And this will give you a list of people in your contact list who don't have an email address. So that could be another way that you get there. Great question. Cool. Looks like we've worked through them all. I just want to take a minute and say thanks for what you do. You guys are awesome people, and finding ways to keep your members connected is huge. Coming from someone who I love social interaction, and I'm stuck at home, you can imagine I'm going a little stir crazy. So to be able to log in and see people who I attend church with is huge for me. It just is like another way or a way that I can have social interaction. So I know there's a lot of people who are missing that. So what you guys are doing makes people feel like they're staying connected. So I hope that you stay healthy and stay safe. And I just am grateful to be able to work with people who are showing people love and giving them ways to stay connected. So you guys are awesome. We really appreciate you. We love working with you. So if there's anything that we can do, again, feel free to reach out to us with this little chat bubble. We're here for you. So we're operating normal business hours. We're just all from home. So reach out. We'd love to help. And thanks for joining me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday and an amazing weekend.